Hey, this is Jerry Akin at Pierce Chapel. Thank you for joining me for this week's midweek meditation. This past Sunday, we began a mega series at Pierce Chapel going through the Gospel of John. Now, the problem with that is it's such a big book that we can't possibly cover every single passage in it. So what I'm going to do over the next several weeks during these midweek meditation moments is I'm going to look at some of the passages in between the passages so that we get a bigger picture of John's gospel. And today I want to talk about something that happens in the first chapter of John. It concerns John the Baptist. The Pharisees and religious leaders come up to John and they ask him, "Are you the prophet we're expecting? Are you Elijah?" And John the Baptist says, "No, I'm not. I'm none of these." In fact, he kind of says, I'm not anybody except somebody pointing to Jesus, pointing to the Messiah that is to come. Now, this is kind of curious because in another gospel, in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says that John is the prophet Elijah. And he says that he is a great prophet and that he was somebody who was vital to his ministry because he prepared the way. Now, scholars have argued for years over whether or not Jesus meant John really is Elijah, or if he's like Elijah, or he comes in the spirit of Elijah. None of that really matters. What I want us to consider is John was not willing to claim any of that for himself. John was just very simply saying, "No, I'm nobody special. I'm just the guy pointing to Jesus." In fact, John had his own group of followers, and he even told some of his followers, "There he is. There's Jesus, the one we've been waiting for." And his followers left him to go follow Jesus. And John was fine with it because John knew it wasn't about him. He wasn't going to declare himself anything special. He was going to let Jesus say that about him. He wasn't going to hoard followers for himself. He knew that if his followers were better off following Jesus, that's what they needed to do. So here's the challenge for us. How often are we tempted to make a name for ourselves? To declare ourselves to be something or somebody important, or to say that our ministry is super important? How often are we willing to say, "No, it's just all about Jesus. I just want to be somebody who points to Jesus, and he can say whatever needs to be said about me. I don't need to say it about myself. Nobody else needs to say it. I'm going to let God do the talking on my behalf." And I'm not interested in building up this huge following for myself. If people are going to be closer to Jesus by following where Christ is leading them, then so be it. I think this is a wonderful challenge for all of us as believers to just point to Jesus. Forget ourselves, forget about self-promotion, forget about our own following, and just say, "Look, there's the Messiah. Let me help you follow him more closely."